Hello and a very warm welcome from the Oxfordshire Local Enterprise Partnership and OxLEP Business. I'm Howard Bentham and I'm your host for this, the first in an exciting series of events over the coming months to welcome companies new to OxLEP Business. For those who live and work in the county, we all know that Oxfordshire is a great place to set up and grow a business. As the Local Enterprise Partnership for Oxfordshire, we have a proven track record in supporting businesses to reach their ambitions through an array of programmes, funding opportunities and networking events right across the county. Over the past year, with the backdrop of COVID-19 and Britain's transition from the EU, our role has become even more pivotal. Since the start of the pandemic, we've introduced a number of new and effective programmes and funds created to provide critical support, which has allowed many among our business community to become more agile and flexible, whilst also encouraging greater levels of business diversification despite the worst that COVID-19 has thrown at them. Over the coming months and years, we're determined to play a key role in ensuring that the county's businesses are able to run as efficiently as possible and remain truly productive as we emerge from these incredibly challenging times for us all. We want to ensure that we're supporting as many Oxfordshire businesses as possible. With this in mind, if you haven't engaged with OxLEP Business previously, or have perhaps heard of us but aren't quite sure as to the type of support that we offer your business, then this absolutely is the event for you. Stay with us as we explore the range of support available from OxLEP Business and guide you to receive the specific and even bespoke help that your company may benefit from. Perhaps you may have recently launched a new business and need some help on taking the next steps to grow it. Perhaps your long-term business has suffered because of COVID-19 and you now need some guidance to help reset it. Or perhaps you have a brilliant and innovative business idea that needs further support to bring that thought to reality. Hopefully the next hour will inspire and inform you in making the next positive step in the right direction. We're keen for today's session to be as interactive as possible. If you are watching this live, as you can see on the screen, there's a chat facility on this platform. We'll put as many of your questions to our panelists in a dedicated Q&A at the end of the broadcast. If you're watching this as a recording, then please get in touch via the website at oxlepbusiness.co.uk and a member of the team will get back to you. Alongside the raft of business support programs and products OxLEP Business offers is a new peer networks program. This is, in actual fact, the second program of its type that we've created in the past 12 months, launched off the back of a successful initial program that provided support to over 150 businesses from right across Oxfordshire. In a short while, I'll introduce you to Ant Parsons from ALP Synergy, who've successfully been managing the Peer Networks programme on behalf of OxLEP Business. But first, let's take a moment to get an overview on OxLEP Business's offer to companies here in Oxfordshire. This whole series of presentations is aimed at businesses who are new to OxLEP Business. So let's help you understand what we are all about. And it's really encouraging, having taken just a very quick head count, that nearly 30 businesses watching this live right now are genuinely new to OxLEP Business. It's great to have you with us. Let's welcome our first contributor. Richard Baiard is with us. Richard is Director of Business Development at OxLEP. He has over 30 years experience leading businesses to succeed and oversees the OxLEP skills and business teams. Richard, great to have you with us. At the outset, it's probably worth just making clear the distinction as to how OxLEP Business fits in with the wider role of the Oxfordshire Local Enterprise Partnership.
Yeah, absolutely, Howard. Good morning, everyone. So OxLEP's priority is to support a vibrant economy. And to that end, we lead strategy developments, things such as economic recovery plans, local industrial strategies, skills strategies, etc. And we work collaboratively across the wider Oxfordshire family and the extended family to put in place a series of activities that support economic prosperity, things as said, such as long-term skills strategies to better align skills provision to meet future economic need, or COVID support grants. It's probably best described. We operate at the interface between local authorities, between government departments, businesses, skills providers, training providers, amongst many others. And we often describe ourselves and being described as the connective tissue that bring those partners together. I mean, ultimately, our aim is to create economic growth and prosperity for our economy, helping businesses and residents thrive. So within that context, OxLEP Business forms a key element of our operational activities. alongside our skills hub and internationalisation support. And across those three strands, we have a comprehensive package of support that can help businesses through a range of programs focused on skills and workforce development, export support, and of course business support through OxLEP Business, which we'll hear much more about over the course of this webinar. It's probably fair to say, and this is something we need to be to shout loud and proud, that we've never had so much support available for businesses, and it's such a very welcome, obviously, range of activity. So yeah, we developed strategy and we have some significant operational programs as well.
Because obviously one thing that OxLEP and OxLEP Business is keen not to be is Oxfordshire's best kept business secret. Perhaps you can give us just a bit more of an overview as to what help is available, and also how OxLEP Business has actively supported companies locally.
Sure, and absolutely, yeah. Nobody wants to be the best kept secret. To reiterate again, we've never had so much support available, Howard. Hopefully a number of businesses on the call will benefit from our programs moving forward, and we need very much to shout loud and proud about that. And just to put some meat on those particular bones, we have specialist business advice and grants through our Escalate and innovation support for business programs. Over the 15 months to June 21, we predict we would have provided in excess of £5 million worth of grants to Oxfordshire businesses, grants for such things as COVID recovery, to the recently closed Business Investment Fund. We know there's huge demand from businesses, and we've been able to pivot existing programs and activities to deliver the programs and activities that business need, and to help them through these incredibly tough times. And of course, we hope that we can help them on that journey through recovery and into growth, because the predictions for Oxfordshire's economy are good. We predict that we'll return to growth over the short term, and of course our businesses are a key part of that. And in terms of our offer, we've grown our business triage and business advice program, which Ant and the team have led over the past 12 months and will lead into 21-22. We've introduced a range of new business advisors to suit really and to mirror the vast range of business types and sectors and experiences that we support. And we've developed a range of online webinars such as this, and seminars that really respond to the challenges that business has self-diagnosed through our triage service. As you said in the intro, Ant will talk us through the peer network program, which is a key activity for this year moving forward. But alongside that, we have a specialist skills to business program, and that helps SMEs really to navigate their way through the skills and training needs they require based on personalised skills needs analysis of the company. And we support them in taking on apprentices, helping source specialist training provision, and equally bring business and the next generation workforce together through our careers hub and enterprise advisor network, really inspiring the next generation of talent. And if I can just give you a very quick case study, we've supported a local photography studio, been around for a decade and a half, obviously severely impacted by the pandemic, but Ant and the team and the skills of business team have helped them navigate their way through these difficult times, look at the opportunities presented through perhaps pivoting the businesses to perhaps supporting more of the webinar development, also looked at their long-term skills ambitions and skills needs, and they're taking on additional resources over the next year or so. So we've got a whole range of support from business support, from skill support. We've also supported in excess of 800 businesses over the past 3 months with EU transition support. So it's really quite a varied offer.
And one of the real strengths, Richard, in what you do is building a collaborative business community, isn't it? The really power of being in this all together is a very real one. Yeah,
and as I said earlier, the connective tissue between the various stakeholders. It's probably fair to say, that It's been an incredibly challenging year, as we know, for many businesses. I personally am so proud that we've been able to support so many businesses over the past 12 months and through those challenging times. The team have been exceptional and have pivoted existing programs to help businesses recover and ultimately take them on that journey to growth. And what that's created is a community of like-minded businesses, of like-minded individuals who come together with a common purpose to help drive their business forward. Just give you a flavour of what we've delivered. Our enhanced growth hub over the past 12 months has supported over 1,200 businesses. That in itself has generated in excess of near enough 3,000 hours of support. We've delivered over 1,200 personalised business support plans to help those businesses grow. We have supported through one-to-many webinars and event startup clubs, high growth programs, peer network programs, which Ant will talk about. Now, each of those creates its own community and its own community of interest as well. And one of the great benefits, and I'm sure Ant will talk about it, is when bringing those like-minded businesses together, whether through a peer network program or through some of the activities through IFSB or Escalate, it creates that business-to-business network in itself, and of course that provides that backdrop against business within which businesses can bounce ideas off each other and really just get the message across that they're not in this alone, that there is help for them, both from OxLEP, but equally from that peer group that's been established. So there's an awful lot of activity and support available. And as said, Ant will pick up the peer network program very shortly.
Richard, good to hear from you. I know you're going to rejoin us again at the end of the broadcast for our dedicated Q&A section, but for now, thank you. We're really keen, as I mentioned, for today's session to be as interactive as possible, and we want you to take part. If you are watching this live, as you can see on the screen, the chat facility is there on this platform. I can see a number of you have already posted questions for our panelists. Please keep adding to those. For answers that require a little more follow-up, a member of the team will be in touch at the close of the event. And a reminder, if you are watching this on catch-up as a recording, please get in touch with the team on the website at oxlepbusiness.co.uk. Our mission is to help businesses to survive and thrive, and we're dedicated to helping you find the support needed to grow your business. As Richard mentioned, building a business community is key in the county. Learning from like-minded business people is such an important part of that. This is where the Peer Networks programme can play such a crucial role in helping move your business forward. Our next guest is the Innovation Director at ALP Synergy, who deliver the Peer Networks programme for OxLEP Business. The aim is to help clients to think differently from their competitors, improving their ideas or generating new ones and building compelling business cases for their best ideas. They do this by delivering innovative workshops, training and online environments that enhance collaboration. They offer projects and program management services and write winning research and partnership funding bids. Our guest speaker also brings to the table more than a decade's worth of experience working at the Environment Agency, so his help certainly ticks many of the green credentials that businesses need going forward. I'm delighted to welcome Ant Parsons to the webinar. Ant, good to have you with us. Give us an overview, if you would, as to what the Peer Networks programme actually is.
Thanks, Howard. Great to be here today, and I can tell you've been and checked me out on LinkedIn from that introduction, so that was great. So yeah, the Peer Networks programme, it is a chance to come together with like-minded business leaders. So we aim at the top level of businesses, so it's leader or very senior manager, and you bring those businesses together, you build a rapport, and then you collaboratively solve problems. So you work together. One business will share a challenge that they've been facing or they can see coming. They know they're going to go through this in the next few months, and the conversation gets going. We facilitate that conversation in a certain way that helps that business to get new insight and new ideas that they wouldn't have got had they just spoken within their company or to their friends. And through that, then that business can go ahead and resolve that challenge and provide feedback in future sessions. This is what I tried. This worked, this didn't work, and everybody then shares that learning. And what's really
It's a really interesting approach to problem solving, and I'm sure ears will be pricking up listening to this. So, I mean, which companies are eligible to take part in this? Have you got to be a certain size, certain number of employees?
You have. I think this would benefit almost any company, but the funding is restricted, and to be eligible, you have to have more than 5 staff, so 5 or more staff. You have to have been in existence for at least a year, and you have to turn over at least £100,000, or you turned over at least £100,000 in March 2020 if you've been significantly impacted by COVID-19. So it is aimed at the slightly larger SMEs, and bringing those together to deal with the challenges, and hopefully through dealing with those challenges they're able to grow and create more jobs.
And how do you actually match companies with their peers or advisors?
So there's the application process in the first place. We ask certain information. It's very quick, it's online, but we ask certain questions about the businesses so that we can try to make sure we're not putting, we don't try to create a cohort from all the same sector. We know that there are schemes out there that do that, but part of the benefit of this is that cross-sector transfer of knowledge. So first off, we're trying to get a really good mix. We're trying to make sure that there's no competitors in there that are going to have conflicts of interest. And after that, we've looked at the businesses and we think, well, actually, we just need to see if we can bring these together and build a rapport and make the chemistry work. And in all cases in the previous program where we ran 16 different groups, rapport was built pretty quickly in the first session and the chemistry developed. And I would say out of those 16, at least 10 of them have set themselves up to carry on after the formal process and carry on networking.
LinkedIn and dating agency all at the same time. And stay with us because I want to bring into the conversation Chantal Orlick from the Motivation Agency. They're a company you helped in the first Peer Networks program. Chantal, great to have you with us. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business for some context and why you decided to join the Peer Networks program?
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I'm a language graduate in French and Russian, and then went into the retail environment, and then from there into the agency environment. And in 2006, I opened my own agency called the Motivation Agency. And we specialise in employee engagement, employee motivation, so internal comms, learning and development, and reward and recognition. 14 members of staff. COVID hit. Immediately, 2 people were out of the picture because they were delivering face-to-face learning. And I realised that budgets were suddenly being cut because we work with both UK and international clients in the fuel sector, hospitality, automotive and pharmaceuticals. So 3 of those sectors were really hit hard. Budgets were cut, and I had to look very carefully at the business and see what I needed to change and how I needed to restructure to survive. So having been a successful business, suddenly I could see things sort of changing dramatically.
On a practical level, how did ANT and the OxLEP Business Peer Networks program specifically help your business then?
So in terms of what I had to change within the business, we had to go from a very bespoke model to an off-the-shelf model from a learning and development perspective. So we'd created a pipeline of learning products, and specifically the challenge that I brought to the table in that very first meeting was how could we get this product in coaching to the public sector. We have got very little experience in selling to the public sector, and that's what my challenge was could this cohort of colleagues help me with their experience and expertise in terms of how to access the public sector. So it was a really, really useful session, and yeah, lots happened as a result of that session in terms of what I put into place to start accessing and talking to the public sector.
It's really interesting how this works. And how long are you paired with your peer network?
So we set up a group of 11 businesses, and we have 2-hour sessions, which feels a long time, but believe me, when there's only 5 minutes left, everyone's looking at the watch thinking, where's this time gone? And we have 9 sessions, so we meet fortnightly. So overall, it's an 18-week program. Obviously, if summer holidays come in the middle or Christmas comes in the middle, then we spread it out. But it's an 18-week program. You really do find by the time you get to your 4th or 5th session, there's a 10-minute window at the start where everyone's catching up and checking in, and you find that people have been meeting up for virtual coffees. People are sending birthday cards to each other. It becomes a really good, strong, trusted network that I hope these businesses will be able to rely on for years to come.
Give us some examples, Anne, which show tangible benefits for businesses taking part.
Well, Chantal has given you one example there. I think in one of my first sessions, what was really interesting, there was a high-tech business working on artificial intelligence, and they needed to let a contract that was going to involve vehicles. And they said, well, we're all high-tech programmers in our business. There's 12 of us, but none of us even own a car. We don't know anything about cars. Just so happened there was a gentleman on the line who owned a mechanic business. Straight away, they were able to have a conversation about something that you'd never think of bringing an artificial intelligence company and a mechanic together, but they had a great conversation. At the other end of the scale, a company, and I'm going to mention these 2 companies, so a company called Guides for Brides that support the wedding industry, and a company called That Event Company, probably would have never met, but 2 weeks ago they did a virtual awards ceremony at Blenheim Palace. So I don't believe they were actually at Blenheim Palace because it was closed, but That Event Company created the backdrop for the wedding company to be able to do it virtually, and to watch it, it's like watching the Oscars. They were in the same group. They would never have met. They collaborated together. But I would say across all the sessions, the sorts of things that the businesses have said is, I can't really talk to my staff about these challenges. I need to talk to other business leaders. I can't talk to my friends because they don't run businesses. So this is a great chance to talk to other business leaders who care about what's happening in my business, but have got no vested interest in it at all. And I'm not paying them, so I can trust what they're saying. So a little bit like having a non-executive director team at your disposal to support you, and really that realization that you're not alone on that journey and that you can share things. And I think overwhelmingly every business said they got just as much from listening to other business challenges and how other people were solving it as when they were working on their own.
Chantal, were you a little reserved at first? Because I mean, obviously you're sharing sensitive ideas or information effectively with outside organisations, aren't you?
Yes, but you're all there for positive reasons and good reasons, and you're all there to support each other. So I think my reservation was more to do with, okay, who goes first, and I was selected first to put my business challenge to the group. So but once that was done, it was absolutely fine, and over the weeks we all got to know each other just so much more, and there was genuinely we all want to support each other and listen to each other and offer our advice and also our networks as well.
And it's something of a Dragon's Den scenario as well, Chantal, isn't it? You sort of get to choose who you work with to take your business forward, as I understand it.
Yeah, well, not quite Dragon's Den. I mean, you're in control of that, in that you're given access to, I don't know, I think must be about 20 business experts and coaches that you look through their CVs, their pen portraits, and determine who you think best suits your business challenge and what you want to get out of the program. And then you book sessions with those experts, and yeah, I mean, they're there to support you and give you advice and challenge you when you need to be challenged. Yeah, but it's all good challenge.
Yeah, it sounds exactly that. And does this work across sectors, or is it particularly effective in certain market areas?
It's completely across all sectors. What we can say is, from looking at the 150 plus businesses we supported last year, there was a slightly more ICT based companies, tech based companies, but after that it was completely spread, and more than 25 different sectors that businesses represented. So I think it's not for everyone. There'll be some business leaders that this is sounding terrible to, but those businesses that have engaged, they come to the first session. Once they realise that it's about team, and for some business leaders, they don't get a chance to be in a team, so it's a unique experience to be in a team. Once you get to that point, then I would say it's for any sector. Obviously subject to the eligibility criteria, then this program can help the business.
And what's going to be different in Peer Networks 2, the sequel, as it were? Are there lessons that you've learned from the initial project?
Yeah, absolutely. So I get going through the whole process. I think we lost a couple of businesses after the first session. They didn't really understand what it was they were getting into. So some people might have signed up, saw the word network, and thought it was going to be a half-hour coffee chat and we'll all sell to each other and we'll go. So we're bringing in more awareness and onboarding, so an extra session just before, so that everybody really knows what they're signing up for. We don't want to waste anybody's time. Once we get going, then we know that we've got a process for facilitating that activity that works. And from looking back last year, we can see the odd session where people left the process and that session got less good feedback than the sessions that stuck to the process. So it sounds formulaic, it isn't once you get going, but we'll stick to the process. And then Chantal mentioned there a group of 20 advisors. So yes, I think there were 17 for you, Chantal. There are 20 this year. So we brought in some additional expertise. We know that lots of businesses want help with marketing. Lots of businesses want help with financial planning and growth. So we brought in additional expertise on that. And we also had a big collaborative event at the end of the program for the last program. That was a huge success. So we're going to do that twice in this program. We're going to do it partway through and then again at the end, where you might be in a group of 11 businesses, but actually you're going to get to meet all 165 businesses on this big networking event. So yeah, we hope it's going to be bigger and better than the previous scheme.
And is there anything to stop companies that were in the first run of this joining the second run?
Sadly, there is. Unfortunately, and believe me, lots of our existing clients have said, well, we want to carry on. But sadly, the funding is asking that we try to identify new businesses. It's a program of support, but it's also a program of learning. So the theory is that those people who've been on the program are now equipped to carry on and develop their own support networks, and that we should be seeking to work with new businesses and help them to go on that learning journey as well. So yes, if your business has been on the program, you are not eligible to reapply.
Chantal, what would be your overriding message to companies watching this today, thinking about getting involved in the peer network group?
You should do it. I mean, you've got everything to gain by going through this process, the peer network process. I mean, I've gained, you gain friendships, you gain business partners, you get lots of different perspectives and insights. I mean, it's been invaluable. So yeah, I would recommend to everyone to give it a go.
And when's the deadline to sign up for the program?
Well, it opens today, so people can apply right now. We're going to be running 15 groups, and we'll be starting 5 or so in the next 2 months. So if people want to apply, I would say don't wait too long, get an application in very soon. But we will still be taking applications in for later phases of the program through the summer and into the early autumn.
And how do people sign up?
So on the OxLEP Business website, which you read out earlier, Howard, there's a very simple online application form. And what's great, on the first page, it tells you how long it takes. And at the moment, it's saying on average, it takes 7 minutes to complete.
That's good news. Stay with us, Ant, and many thanks to Chantal Orlick as well from the Motivation Agency, Ant Parsons from ALP Synergy. We're going to welcome back Richard Baiard as well from OxLEP Business, along with OxLEP's communications manager, Rob Panting, who's been trying to keep up with the many questions that have been landing during the presentation. So thanks to everyone who's been posting questions for our panel. Rob, give us a flavour of some of the questions delegates have been asking.
Hi Howard, and morning to everyone. Yes, it's been another busy morning. We're very pleased with the input from our delegates. Many, as you mentioned, are new to OxLEP, which is fantastic to see. The first question, and you did touch on this during your presentation, but I think it's probably important to continue to reinforce the eligibility. We'll get that word out eventually. Criteria. The question is, I'm a new business looking to join the program. Do I fit the criteria?
So the peer network's eligibility. The first, I'm going to reverse them slightly. So the first one is actually you've got an ambition for growth. If you haven't got that, then the program's not really for you. But if you've got that ambition for growth, then you must have 5 or more staff. There is a slight nuance in that if you're in the creative sector, and you need to really know that you are in the creative sector, then full-time associates are counted as staff. So if you're in that space and you're not sure, get in touch and we'll have that conversation. We are allowed to accept a very small number, i.e., about 5 to 10 businesses over the whole program that have got less than 5 staff. But you must have more than £100,000 turnover, and you must have been trading for more than a year. So that's the criteria. I don't want to disappoint anyone. So if there's businesses on here thinking, oh, blast, that doesn't suit us, then, as Richard said earlier, we have a wide range of support. And we have mini versions of the Peer Networks program, if you like, that are for businesses that wouldn't meet those eligibility criteria. So again, check out the OxLEP Business website. There's something called a business support tool. If you search for Oxfordshire Business Support Tool, it comes up first on most of the search engines. Complete that. Again, won't take you long. It's less than 10 minutes, but that gets you on OxLEP Business's radar, and we will then provide you with a bespoke offer of what we can do to help you.
Fantastic, thanks, Ant. There's a more specific question from one of our delegates. So they're looking to start their own training and consultancy business for pre-startups in the near future. I think you've probably just touched on it, Ant, in terms of the business support triage tool and directing people to the correct support. I guess this one we can throw across to Richard. Where would you recommend they went to get started? Obviously, there's the business support tool, but are there other specific programs within OxLEP Business that the delegate might benefit from?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Complete the business support tool. Initially, we held some really successful business startup clubs last year, and the wonderfully acronymed pop-up business schools, pubs, over the course of the last year, recognizing that a great significant number of people were starting their own businesses, which is always the way in economic downturn. So those are examples of how we've pivoted our offer. We'll be running those again over the course of the next year, both within our immediate business team, but equally across the wider family as well, because a lot of the local authority stakeholders run and have a particular focus on pre-start and early stage startup support. But the key thing being complete the business support tool. We'll then take a view, look at the how we can help the business, and either through our programs or partner programs we'll be able to support support you moving forward.
Are there any specific strands, Ant, within peer networks that have supported pre-startups, or in fact, I guess, is that aligns with the eligibility criteria that we spoke about earlier on?
It does.
Yeah.
It's a specific challenge in a county like Oxfordshire, where you've got so many spin-out companies from universities, etc. We had a lot of people apply who said, well, we've got 6 staff, we've been in operation for 3 years, but we're still pre-commercial.
Absolutely.
We're working off investment. So we had to go back and really look at the definitions and say, no, it doesn't matter if you've had £1 million investment, you've got to have had £100,000 turnover. So that's why our program, why I say we have some mini peer networks programs. It doesn't mean mini in terms of quality. It's just, slightly different model. And yeah, we want to support all those businesses.
Excellent. One, again, I think probably for Richard, in terms of OxLEP Business's sort of general support, this one's around sectors. Are there any favoured sectors that OxLEP Business supports? I think I probably know the answer to this. We support all sectors, but I guess it might be worth touching on some of the sectors that have particularly, I guess, struggled and found challenges during the pandemic. Maybe a flavour as to the sectors that we've specifically supported.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. So the key message, the key headline is our support is sector agnostic. We will support any sector, but of course, and any business within that. But of course, Oxfordshire has a really rich and varied mix of sectors, from obviously for example, the life sciences sector, which has been at the forefront of vaccine development, space and satellite, through to visitor economy. Now we know, and that the data is telling us, and was reaffirmed at a meeting on Wednesday, the visitor economy has been hugely impacted by the pandemic. We all know that, walking around our high streets. We all see that, obviously, the impact of international travel, etc. So we have, over the course of the past 12 months, put in place some specific support for the visitor economy, offering very small, modest kickstart grants to visitor economy, and equally, moving forward, we're very focused. That is a sector that we need to continue to support, and give you an example of that in practice. Recently closed business investment fund grant program has got about 20% applications from visitor economy and businesses in the broadest sense. So yeah, very much sector agnostic. We will try and find the right support that suits your business and your sector. If we can't provide and support it, invariably we'll know somebody or an organisation that can help and support you. But I think, going back to what Ant said in terms of the peer network program and the business advisor program that we've got through the Growth Hub, we've expanded our range of expertise to really reflect the broad range of inquiries that are coming through and sector types that are coming through.
Excellent, thanks, Richard. I guess just a couple of other questions. I'm very conscious of time. This one for Ant, and Chantal, if you're still there, please feel free to pop up on screen as well. This one talks about some of the business challenges that were faced or identified through the peer network programs, and I think you touched on a couple, and Chantal, your own sort of personal experience through your business, you mentioned some of the challenges, but it might be worth just reinforcing the type of challenges that businesses have come forward with and engaged about, I guess, through the peer network program.
Yeah, Chantal, do you want to say anything? If not, I'll.
No, you go.
Okay. So yeah, really broad range. I mean, things, I would say a lot of it comes under leadership and management. So businesses looking at that, and I personally think that is probably one of the biggest areas that almost any business can focus on. You know, if you get your leadership and management right and confident, then you can lead through any challenge. You know, a COVID-19 pandemic can come and you can be ready for it. So there was a lot of coverage on leadership and management challenges. Some of those management challenges were HR. Everything from how am I going to maintain motivation of my staff while they're furloughed, through to how do we manage a very difficult but extremely important senior member of staff. So the full range of those sorts of challenges. Testing new business ideas. So people coming along, I've got this product, it's been going really well, but I think if I adapt it, tweak it, and do these things, I'll have a whole new market. What does everybody think about that? A lot, I guess it comes back to the leadership as well, but building confidence to make that next step. If you're a business with 6 staff and you know that you've got a good market coming up, but you're going to have to scale to 10 or 15 staff, that can be scary. So helping the businesses to think through what those different situations would be and how they could cope with that. One of the other key things, we did get quite a lot of good key feedback, but one of the other key things that people said, and I guess Chantal's referred to this a little bit, is that people are really, really supportive. Everybody wants to help you, but they also hold you to account. So it's that, when you say to someone, oh, I'll bet you a tenner you won't do that. It's the business version of that. It's you're making a commitment. I'm going to do this for my business. And 2 weeks or 4 weeks later, you'll come back and people will say, well, how did it go? And it's surprising the commitment that people give to actually making sure that they can stand there honestly on that session and feedback something that they're proud about.
Excellent. Thank you. Chantal, did you want to add anything to that?
Well, just to add to that, would be it was just, as Ant said, that holding to account and seeing people sort of grow as well as they are being held to account and really build their confidence. It's great. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm very conscious of time. I've got 2 or 3 quickfire questions which we'll run through before we close. Richard, I guess this one's for you. We've mentioned lots of different support programs this morning, obviously including the second Peer Networks program. Do we always aim to push businesses towards the right business support program? It doesn't really matter which program they initially engage with. We always try and push them towards the right program.
That's absolutely the purpose and the beauty of the business support tool. It will almost identify through what business is telling us. It's almost it's a self-diagnostic tool. It will identify the key issues and challenges, and will help us very quickly identify the right support that's suitable for them. As said, whether it's from one of our programs or from programs across the wider stakeholder family.
Excellent, thank you. And then just one final one, and I'm very conscious that there have been several other questions that have come in over the last 5 minutes, which we will get back to delegates on in writing. So apologies that we've not covered every question, but I'm conscious we're eating into people's business days. So really to Ant and Chantal, have businesses genuinely remained in touch following the first programme, and are they collaborations that continue, I guess, not just to this day, but way into the future as well?
Yes, so we had our first non-official meeting last Thursday, again, my cohort, and we are having them every 2 weeks. So we are genuinely keeping in touch. And also there are a number of us that will in future, no doubt, be doing some business together as well. So absolutely, yes.
Excellent. And anything to add to that?
I've seen that across the groups I'm connected with, and heard from the other facilitators. So I'm just one of the facilitators. There are 5 other facilitators, and I'm getting that same message.
Excellent. And I guess going into the future as well, as Richard mentioned, the visitor economy, hospitality economy, why not tie in a beer or two with your collaborations moving forward once we start to open up again?
We have a brewery and at least one gin distillery in the group anyway. So yeah, we're all planning tours.
We need to make sure we attract some distilleries to the second cohort of programme participants, in which case then
there will be lots of Peer Network Christmas parties, I am sure. Rob Panting, thank you for fielding the questions, and thank you to everyone watching. We really do appreciate all the questions and all the feedback. And for the questions that we didn't quite get to answer, conscious of the time, we will get back to you just as soon as we can. It's been great to hear the expert view from Richard Baiard from OxLEP Business, and also for the excellent contributions from Chantal Orlick from the Motivation Agency and Ant Parsons from ALP Synergy for their knowledge, enthusiasm and hands-on experience of the Peer Networks programme. We hope that this presentation, the first in our series of New to OxLEP Business, has increased your knowledge of what OxLEP and OxLEP Business is all about and the myriad of help that's available, not least the Peer Networks programme that is looking for businesses to help right now. Please go to oxlepbusiness.co.uk/peer-networks for more information. The team are just a phone call or an email away. It's a fabulous opportunity to help your business make the next step. Please let OxLEP Business help you head in the right direction. There's no doubt that these are tough times to be running a business, possibly the toughest ever, but help is available. We never have had so much support on offer to Oxfordshire's small businesses, so do use it. The website again, oxlepbusiness.co.uk. Thanks so much for watching, but for now from me, Howard Bentham, it's goodbye.